faces here that I don't know. So my name's Leah, and I'm the host of The Black House. It's a Saturday live radio show. We have chats and discussions and interview people from the community. So I won't go into talking too much about myself right here. I mean, besides the fact that yes, I've got menopause and I use the mental health system, and I got joint sore pain, and I was actually voluntold that I was hosting this, so it comes with everything. So I'm just going to get straight into the questions. These are some questions that, as I understand, they were put forward to you, Cynthia. Yeah. So I'm just going to go. How many questions are we going to do each? One or two? One. All right. So I'd like to start with, all right, Caroline. Awesome. Okay. How can we enhance diversity and provision of services relating to health and well-being to ensure that the systems in place are catering for us and our needs?
Thank you for inviting me to this and for allowing me to be on the panel. So I'm Caroline Chembo. I'm a kidney specialist at Wellington Hospital. I come from Zambia. But to be brief, the starting point in making me get to be a doctor was at home. My parents nurtured me. My parents nurtured me, so everything has to start from the home. So your kids, nurture them as best as you can. If they show interest in sciences, please do not persuade them not to. Then you've got the community around you who can be very, very supportive and even do like after hours tutoring and mentoring. And the other thing that you do is nobody should ever tell you that you cannot do it. You have to try until you fail. When you go to secondary school or high school, you should not let the teachers tell you that you cannot do it. Just prove them wrong. When you go to university, nobody should tell you that you cannot apply to School of Medicine or whatever. If you don't make it the first time to be a doctor, there are so many, there's always time. You can go in to become a physiotherapist, a nurse, whatever, but you can eventually get to where you want to be.
Awesome, thank you for that. Okay, the next question I want to put to the panel, this one's for Elma. It's actually a two-parter. What can parents do to be more interactive with the school administration, teachers and other parents of children at the school their child attends? And are there homework programs in place that parents can get involved with that are supportive to parents taking part or being involved?
Thank you for the question, Leah. My name is Elma. I am a teacher and I am South African. I've been in New Zealand since 2014. And I've been teaching in New Zealand since 2018. My high school, my last employment was at the high school, and I'm now busy with professional development. Should be back in class next term. But just back to the question, how can parents be? How can they be more involved in schools?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, at this stage, the Ministry of Education is encouraging partnerships between teachers or schools and family, because over the years, I guess we also have had to do research, and the Education Review Office, who does, I think, a 3-yearly or 5-yearly review of schools and parents and how things are going on at schools and well-being, etc. They found that when parents are in partnership with the schools, the children flourish. Okay, so it is quite important for our community to ensure that we participate in the fundraising events. We we go to school and we meet frequently with a teacher, because there are opportunities which we call parent-teacher meetings, but those are just quarterly. You can actually talk daily to your child's teacher if it's a primary school child, because you meet the child at the gate, and that's where teachers stand. When you drop your child off, there's a teacher or principal. When you pick your child up, usually there's another teacher or your child's teacher, depending on the size of the school. So there are ample opportunities for parents to become involved and build that strong link between yourself and the school and the teacher. There is also the opportunity for parents to, I did mention fundraising. We should just be more available, because I don't think our families are make themselves available. And we should also meet other parents. And in that way, as Denise mentioned earlier, in that way, we would find who the other parents are who may be having the same problem, or the other parents with the same problem, and you could form a network in that way. There are ample opportunities for parents to form these partnerships with schools. We have to make use of that. And how do we know about these things? Because I also understand that sometimes there's a language gap. I don't know what you call it, a barrier, but it's a language gap. If parents are more visible to the school will start reacting, to those gaps that we sometimes complain about. That, I don't know what the school expects from me. I don't know what homework my child has. If I have a close relationship with my child's teacher, I could ask him these questions. I could ask, how is John doing? I see that John didn't bring homework today. What is the school policy on homework? We need to ask what the school policy is on bullying, because there are policies in place. There's a policy for bullying. I don't want to talk about that because that was not the question, but there was so much going on being spoken about bullying, and there are clear policies that parents have to take control of. We are not very involved in schools. We have to stand up and become involved individually and as a community.
Thank you. All right, the next question I'm going to put to Irene. Hi, it's a legal question, but it also does have a spot of health in there because it's actually about health services, but what is legal redress? So tell us the kind of redress or rights, like officially, besides officially complaining to administration or clinic, that as patients of a health service, when we've been poorly treated by doctors or other health professionals, what can we do? What can we do when the system doesn't work for us?
Hi, actually that was supposed to be for Caroline. But hi, my name is Irene Zikonda, and I have a legal background. So in short, we would probably go to the Human Rights Commission, because everybody has a right to be treated fairly and no discrimination. And as many of you would know, is that the public sector is, you could obviously apply under the Official Information Act for them to actually provide any information that is related to that issue that you had. And there's also the Disability Commission as well that you could go to. And but I would encourage people as a starting point to go to Wellington Community Law Centre or the Hutt Community Law Centre. They offer various services there, and they could obviously guide you to qualified lawyers.
All right, thank you very much. And
Just a quick mention, because as a doctor, I know that I'm at the other end of this. So if you feel you're not being listened to after complaining within the health system, just go onto the Health Disability Commission website. It's very easy to access, and you will be helped, because then they'll find somebody to help you navigate through everything in the health system. I would encourage you to do that, because sometimes we fall short as a health system, but that's the best way that can keep us accountable.
Is for Louise. How do we as mothers make the best use of plunkets when kids are younger, and ensuring that we are getting the best information to support our kids aged 0 to 5 years in their growth?
Thank you. Kia ora everyone, my name is Louise. I'm originally from Nigeria. Been in New Zealand 16 years. My training is in paediatric nursing, but I'm also a trained counsellor, so representing some of the sisters here. Paediatric, so children. We've talked a lot about our children here. One of the key message I want you to take away is, which has been said already, is no one knows your child better than you. You know your baby. We're trained nurses and doctors and whatnot. We have general knowledge around children's development, children's growth, but your child is unique. So any advice you get from any health professional, plank it, and if you have concern, it doesn't sit right, ask more questions. Seek second opinion if need be. Trust your gut instinct. Do what's right for you and your baby. So message here, keep asking questions. Don't shy away from the questions until you feel satisfied that the information you're getting is correct and it feels right. That's my advice.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is for Mabel. So we pass that. Yeah. And I'm saving you for last, Sabina, because nearly every question was for you. So what is your opinion, Mabel, on community saving schemes like lending trees? You know, the Somali call it Ayuto, is that right? Ayuto. When groups contribute X amount to a pot weekly, which is then given to one person in the group weekly, and the receiver gets rotated around the group each week, would you recommend such community-initiated group economics as other ethnic communities have done? And could such saving schemes bring women together if organised well?
Thank you for that, and thank you for having me. I didn't see that one coming. I was busy talking about the statistics that I have here, but my name is Mabel, for those who don't know me. I've been in New Zealand for 22 years, the majority of which, I think about 19 years, working with funding organizations, and then now with my own business, and also working with financial services as part of the financial side of the business. So thank you for having us here. In the context of Ubuntu that you were talking about, I think it's a great opportunity for people to come together and put money together as a way of going forward in the way that, say, if you want to create wealth, because when you're putting that money together, it's not necessarily working smartly for you. It's working to put it aside, to give the next sister who will use it for whatever they use it, and we don't know what it is. What I would recommend is the ways that actually grow wealth in the long term and thinking multi-generationally, because when we are thinking of putting money together for one sister, that may be for that week or for the month, but really what we need to have our mindset is how do we make the money and the resources that we have work smarter for us, but not just in the short term, but in the long term. Because a lot of people that accumulate wealth do that in ways that grows their money, which then enables them to do other projects that they can do bigger and better things for, rather than the one moment of the money that we're giving the sister now. So as a way of bringing us together and having something to talk about or look forward to, I think that could work, but it has to go beyond thinking multi-generationally and growing that wealth beyond next week, next month, next year.
Can you expand on multi-generational?
So when I look at, say, okay, how many people here have KiwiSaver? How many have looked at their KiwiSaver lately? Do you know how exactly? My sister just said it's going down. But what does that mean? And so that if you look at the idea of KiwiSaver, for example, it's meant to be for retirement. Yes, you can get your KiwiSaver out to buy your first home, and you can also get it out when you have serious financial hardships. But the idea of KiwiSaver itself is for the future. So it's not money for now, it's money for later. But you're putting that money now thinking of later. You're not just spending all of it now. So I think if we're doing programs like that, they need to have a similar way where you're putting that money, because it's not just going to protect the generation now, because when I'm retired and my KiwiSaver has grown, because if you've used your KiwiSaver for your first home, now is also the time to look at, is it working smartly for you for the years that are coming? So by the time I'm old enough, I'm not going to be a burden to my children or my family, because that retirement fund is growing. So that's what I mean in terms of, if we're doing things as sisters, let's think future-wise, multi-generationally, and saying, how can that money grow for us, not just today and give us next week, but in the future.
Yeah. I just know if people plan on going to Australia, there's no such thing as volunteered superannuation. It's forced. Everybody has to do super. And I only found out about superannuation. We didn't have it when I left New Zealand, and the KiwiSaver was here when I came back. So, but Australia, you have to do it.
And so that's something to be mindful of, because it varies in different places as well. Yeah. But again, KiwiSaver is not the only avenue to retirement. In fact, if you look at the statistics, it's actually not necessarily enough for how you want to live in retirement. So there are multiple ways that people can be considering now, where they are building their wealth in a similar way to KiwiSaver. Because KiwiSaver, mind you, is locked. Once you've bought your first home, you can't get it until you're 65, which is retirement age, or whatever the retirement age the government of the day says. So if the government says retirement is 67 years now, you're not getting your KiwiSaver out. But there are other ways that you can bring in that funding, which you can access earlier than your KiwiSaver money. And that would be another way of putting money in a way that grows than just a small way.
Sorry. So I just want to find out, because if the KiwiSaver goes, when you check it, this time it's there. The next time you check it, it's there. So is it really like a good thing for us to do, because we get heartbroken when you find that you put $5 and the next day it is $2.50 and then you're going, you know, so what would you advise us? You know?
Okay. So I'm happy to have a free consultation with anyone, like 20 minutes, no obligation. And I've got some little cards on the table to say 20 minutes, just put it in the box. Someone from my office will call you and we can arrange a meeting. Because what happens with KiwiSaver is, people look at their KiwiSaver and they see, oh my God, I've lost all my money, where is it gone? You haven't lost any money necessarily. What you've lost is the value at the time. You still have the unit. So if you look at your KiwiSaver statement when you get it annually, usually they send it around this time because you're doing your tax returns and things like that. You want to see how much it's grown. And so when you look at that, the units that you have got are still the same. What has gone down is the value based on the volatility or what's happening in the market. Right now we've got Ukraine, things are going up and everyone is responding to it. But then the question then comes to, what asset allocation are you in? And are you in the right fund for your KiwiSaver? Because a lot of people, I get so heartbroken when I meet clients and they've been in a KiwiSaver fund that they will put in a default, because everyone who joins work is put in a default fund. They have no idea which company, they might be with Booster or Fisher Funds or with the bank or any of the default providers. They have no idea what asset allocation they are in. So they might not be in the right one for when they're buying their first home. But equally, when they've already bought their first home, they might not be in the right one to actually gear them for the success they need to be in. So you need to actually check that and see, are you in the right allocation? So there are many people that can talk to you about that, myself included. But if you have to talk to someone you're comfortable with, you can trust, and even sorted.org has good information about what's going on. So I think the advice that I have is just be proactive about your savings, your KiwiSaver, because you don't want to be subcontracting your future retirement plan in KiwiSaver by just saying the government put me in it and I have no idea, but my money has gone down. Like, just take time to understand what that actually means, but also to know when the money is down like that now, it's almost like things are on sale. So it's actually the right time to be buying more, because if something that costs $1 is going for 80 cents, which is what it is now, it's actually a good time to be buying more. But people are looking at just the value, not the units. You still have the value that you had.
Thank you. Yep. Last on the line is Sabina. And, you know, we've talked a lot about mental health at this event today. And I think we've covered quite a lot of the causes and the stigmas and all that sort of thing. So there's this one question here that I wanted to ask you, and that is, should we be encouraging more of our young people to get into the field of mental health research and clinical study?
Nice. Hi, my name is Sabina. I run the organization called Reach Out. If you saw some of the pamphlets, we are based in Palmerston North and here in Petone, and we offer free counseling to all of you, sisters, and the young people as well. We have a number of free sessions. Please take that opportunity, grab it, and run with it. It's all free. What was the question again?
Do you think we should be encouraging more of our young people to get into the field of mental health and clinical study?
Okay, thank you. I think it's really, really good for young people to come and join the counseling, mental health, blah, blah, blah. It's really good, but you really need to know it's a calling, because it's not easy to be a counselor. I was discussing with my sister Jawahir, sometimes counselors are a little bit messed up too. But anyway, we all go through menopause anyway. But it's a good thing. Please come and join us. There is so much work out there. The harvest is plenty and the laborers are few. So we're really calling all the young ones who are gifted, because it's not easy to be a counselor, sister. Sometimes you have to see 7 people per day, all in tears, and you are like, at the end of the day, what do I have left for me? So it's really a calling. You need to know what you want. You need to have the, what we call it, the oomph, the stamina to do it. So otherwise, you are all welcome to come and join us, regardless of your age. If you are 75, if you are 70, if you are 19, please feel welcome to come join us.
Thank you.
Sabina, so you said free counseling. How many sessions can we attend that are free, and how many? Or is it just free?
Okay, it's about 6 free sessions. But if you need more, we always find ways of doing it. Yeah.
Just touching on what Big Sis said, it's a calling. It's going to be a calling, otherwise it will potentially suck you up. For me, I had that calling early on, and I went in to start that journey to do therapy. I was told I was too young, so I went and did Paediatric, and I thought I'd be fine with that, but that calling never went away. So I listened to that calling and then did my counselling training. In terms of counselling support, just wanted to add on, for anyone that lives closer to the Kapiti Coast area, or even if not, if you're willing to travel as far as Kapiti, the Women's Centre there at Kapiti, we run free counselling service. There's currently 8 counsellors there. You don't have to have a particular issue to come in, just access free counselling. You get up to 8 sessions for free. There's room for more if need be. And we also run the Women's Refuge Service, which has been talked about quite a bit here. So there's 2 Women's Refuge Services in Pororoa, 2 in Wellington City, 1 in Kapiti, and further up you have Levin and Palmerston North. The help is there, the support is there. Just ask and the help will be there. Thank you.
I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from tonight is asking for support, not being afraid to ask for support. I'd just like to say is there any more questions that we're taking? That's it for me. I'd just like to thank everybody on the panel, Sabina, Mabel, Elma, Dr. Caroline Chembo, Irene, Zikonda, Louise, Waterworth, and of course Jawahir, and Denise at the back there. And also, and Ruvimbbo, yes, sorry, Ruvimbbo. And also I'd just like to thank our esteemed South African ambassador, who's just popped in at the end of the night. Now she's retired. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for tonight. And thank you so much for coming along.